Well, hey, I've been sitting recently on some very, very exciting news that I want to bring to you today in the episode. And that is after 8 years of growing and scaling up my exterior cleaning company, we have officially been acquired. I've officially sold the business after 8 years, which was quite a process and was a huge milestone to achieve. And so I wanted to take a few minutes here, just like a completely unedited video, and kind of show you through that process. And I'll just tell you too, we will link up here to a more in-depth interview where I actually sat down with Landon and kind of deep dove a full, long, lengthy interview getting into the process. But for purpose of today, I want to tell you my decision, why I made the decision to sell the business. And I'm also going to leave some value for you, kind of showing the 7 steps that I had to get in place to make it happen. And I'm also going to include some bonus content for you here. I actually took the time in the weeks leading up to the sale to actually show you kind of the process behind the scenes, what I was going through. So we're going to kind of layer in a few of those short clips through this as well. But I just want to kind of set context what my business was. The company name was Revive Services. I originally started as Revive Washing. We then rebranded to Services as we added in Christmas lights and some other services around the home. But through the course of 8 years, just to throw some stats at you, just so you're like, okay, this is actually legit. We generated over 11,000 leads. We did over 5,550 jobs. So 5,550 jobs. Awesome. We did just under $4 million in total revenue, which was awesome. I was able to successfully hire and onboard and train 54 team members, both on the field for technicians, also in the office, and our sales team, production managers as well. So those are just kind of some stats of the business. We kind of became the top rated company in the area where I am walking around right here in South Surrey. And it was largely a residential portfolio that was able to get sold to the next owner, which I'll talk about. So, you know, good success that way, and was able effectively to get the business running without me, which is funny. There's some pressure washing up going on up here, so maybe we'll walk over to the other side of the street. So let's kind of dive into why I made the decision to sell. It wasn't an easy one, and it was one that was on my mind for definitely like over a year. And the stats are like a small business takes an average of 14 months to actually sell. And so for my case, it wasn't quite that amount of time, but mentally it was going on in my mind for a bit. So it really just came down to a capacity issue for me. Back in 2020, this channel you're watching on, listening on the podcast, I started up Home Service Business Coach, and originally just started, trading my time for a 1 hour, doing a Zoom call for $200 with my first client. And it really grew quite quickly over the coming years, which was exciting, where we've now helped over 350 companies at time of making this video and became like a full team. So like today, we're like a 9-10 person team at HSBC. So as I had that growing, Revive was also like a 9-10 person team. So it kind of came to this point, I had over, 20 team members on the team. And of course we had managers and structure, but anyone who's grown a company knows that even when you set up systems, it's still you, the owner, that is ultimately responsible for the outcome of the business. And I just found after doing that for a couple years, it was a lot. And it was a lot on me personally, where I was like, I had all this responsibility. We add into the other fact that my son now is almost 2 years old. And so I felt like I was running this triangle quite constantly, from Home Service Business Coach back to Revive, and then, being dad, being husband. And I kept that dance up for like about 2 years. And it just got to be a lot that I was just like, I don't know that I can sit on these 3 chairs and do them really well. And Revive's been running without Dave, keep in mind, for about 4 years. So it wasn't like I just grew this business and did $100 grand in a month and now I'm teaching it. Like, I set it up, managers were in place, it was running, it was top rated, it was making money, it was running. And it was just like, came to this point where I did it for 4 years, and it came had to be very realistic that to continue to grow a business needs like the heart and soul of the owner. It needs to have someone pushing it to that next level. And I just felt, I knew what needed to get done, but I felt like I didn't have the capacity in my personal life and with what's going on at HSBC to make it happen. So it really came down to that that decision, which wasn't one that I made lightly, because, you know, this is the stuff that I teach, to start a company with nothing, to grow it, and now eventually exit it. And that was the second kind of key point that I wanted to accomplish in my own journey, was to actually successfully exit a company. I'd started up a couple painting businesses before, but Revive was like my third go around for building a home service business. And like step one was get it running without the owner, which I was able to do. And then step two was get it actually successfully exited, which was kind of on my like entrepreneurial bucket list I wanted to be able to do. And it wasn't like I just, you know, wanted to take this nice cash buyout and go right off into the sunset. Like, I think as an entrepreneur, your work's never actually fully done. We just need to choose like where your focus is going to be. And so for me, I'm choosing from Revive, HSBC, and family. I feel like I was able to pick two, which was a tough decision. So it had to be Revive that had to move on. So that's kind of my decision. Why, again, we'll link up like a full interview. Like, we're well over an hour sitting down with Landon, kind of deep diving a little bit more into the psychology of it. And if you're watching on YouTube, like, put a comment down below if this is inspiring you, if this is firing you up, or even if you got a question about it. My team and I could probably jump on and answer some questions as we go. So let's kind of dive in now to the 7 steps that it took. And again, we'll layer in some videos to kind of show you behind the scenes what I was going through. So the first one was, you want to get organized, okay? I created what's called a pitch deck, which was just this like really basic PDF kind of slideshow walking through, this is the business, this is our reviews, this is roughly our team, this is ballpark numbers, like without wiring up financials or anything at this point. We're just showing kind of the business at a high level. So you want to get that organized. You know, I talked to my accountant, made sure that we had all of our finances squared away, because I knew that was the next step. When people reach out, they're going to want to like see numbers of the business and kind of deep dive a little bit more into the due diligence process. So that's step one, was getting organized, okay? Number two, I decided to list the business online, and I listed it on a couple different websites throughout Canada. I had to pay for that listing, but I paid for 6 months up front because that's very realistic. I thought it would take about that to bring the right buyer in. I didn't really go to my network, really. I thought about it, but it's just kind of my style. Even when people are looking for a recommendation for someone, I'll usually just like go online before I'll start like hitting people up that I know. So that was just my own personal decision, that I was like, hey, I'll kind of anonymously list the business. You know, I think if you read into it enough, you could probably kind of figure out that it was for sale. But I also didn't want to like sound panic to my team. I'm never the entrepreneur that's going to talk about things that, you know, might theoretically happen and talk about them like they're a done deal. I like to kind of do it on the side and then kind of announce it like I am right now when it's like fully done and signed off. So that was the next step, was listing the business up online. It's something I really pride myself in, is creating listings online and creating buzz around it, whether we're hiring for employees or a specific role, or in this case, like listing a business. I really enjoyed that process. Now, what happened next actually really surprised me. In the course of a few months after listing, I ended up collecting, I counted them up, 112, I believe it was, inquiries in the business, right? People who wanted some more information, who liked the business, seemingly what was listed online. So we got a ton of traction. And if you watch any of my stuff, you know that I'm extremely systems driven and don't like to waste any time. And so I created this 10-minute audio message that when people reached out, it's kind of like Marketplace, right? If you've ever sold something on Facebook Marketplace, hello, is this item still available? I think is the preset Facebook message. And it's super annoying because you got to waste time responding. I think it's annoying. So 10-minute voice audio. When people reached out, I said, absolutely. Boom, here's a short audio message. If you want more info, let me know. So right away on the 112, I don't know what it whittled down to, but it wasn't fully 112 that went into an NDA, because that was the next process, right? Was kind of filtering through. This is step 3. You're filtering through, I call them the applicants or the interest, right? That all 112 aren't going to write you a check for the business, nor would they be a good fit. So we're kind of doing that process. Then we're moving into step 4, which was due diligence, okay? So this was me. I ended up having 4 offers on the business, which was exciting. And I'll back up a little bit. Went from 112. I think I sent out about like 15 or so NDAs, which was like a legal agreement saying hey, I'll show you more the nitty gritty of the business, specifically like the financials and some sensitive information, but legally you can't talk about this with anyone, right? And I've signed NDAs as a buyer before, or like specific agreements in like partnerships or whatnot, but this was one for me to craft as the seller now. And so went from NDA about 15 or so of those to 4 offers on the business, which was exciting because that was like, you got people lining up to pay. And a couple things too, and I get into it longer in the interview. There's a few non-negotiables for me. One was that the team would be taken care of. 2 was that there wouldn't be any kind of an earn out, that I would need to stay on and be CEO and continue to hit specific numbers in my journey. And then 3 was like the actual structure of the sale. I was really sticky that it had to be a share sale because I wanted to get the money. In Canada, tax-free, you can sell a business if you're a seller with a share sale. So that was the other criteria that I had. And then ultimately it was just someone coming into my world, because I knew in the handoff, I'm gonna need to be working with them. They had to pass for me the vibe check, right? And we had another offer, which was a really good offer financially, but the vibe check just wasn't there. I was just like, I just don't know if this person has the chops to run a small business, right? Because this is like a kind of a good business to take over, right? I'm basically shortcutting 7 to 8 years that this buyer would need to be, setting up their Google business profile, and how do we get reviews, and how do we produce a job? Like all this stuff was like already bundled up in a box. We even passed off over 8,000 records in our job, or like set up, like it was like a good business that this group is buying, okay? So that was step 4. Maybe we'll walk up this way this time. Hopefully you're liking this, and hopefully I don't get hit by a car. So that was step 4, okay? Step 5 was moving into actual due diligence with a specific buyer. My chosen buyer I get into it in the interview, was just a phenomenal fit to take over what I had built and move it to the next level. So we had to move into due diligence, which was financial, which was legal, which was operations. So they wanted to see all of our playbooks, our systems. They wanted to see our jobber. They wanted to see the financials. They wanted to see the certificate of the incorporation. They want to make sure there's no, outstanding taxes to the business. Because again, in a share sale, the buyer's taking over everything, right? So if we had a pending lawsuit, like that transfers over. So it's like a really important stage that the due diligence gets done in honesty for the seller, myself, and also the buyer, that they're assured that like this business is legit and they're not buying like a crappy business, that there's going to be all these big issues coming up post-sale. That was step 5. All right, so I definitely know I had to do this in my business career before, and it's not fun conversations to have, but I am taking this week to actually tell our team members that I'm going to be selling the business. And so doing these conversations, they're tough because you've made memories with these people, you care about them, you want to make sure their jobs are safe. And life and business go through different seasons, and I've been in a great 8-year run of a great season, and I've have to move on and go and do other things, and life changes. And I think just it's part of being honest and real as a human and as a business owner. And also as a business owner, it's not always sunshine and rainbows. You got to have these tough conversations and just be honest. And so I'm going into my meeting right now with one of my key staff members to literally tell them, cards on the table, like this is what's going on. So gonna jump into that right now, but just want to share it's not always easy as a business owner. You got to have these tough chats and these crucial conversations, even if they're not going to be fun and you got a knot in your stomach, you still need to dive into the discomfort and be honest with your team members. So that's what I am up to this week. It's not always up and up. You got to have those tough chats. So here we go. All right, back home now after having all of the key chats this week. And truthfully, like they went better than I anticipated, right? I think sometimes as owners, we think you just don't know how people are going to react. And again, like you've built this business with them, right? And it's an emotional thing to kind of pull out with like a big shocking news. But I did my absolute best to deliver the news with grace. And also like a good thing for our whole team is with the deal, all our team members are staying on the team, which there's no turbulence there, which I think is like a big part. Employees are looking for stability and they're looking for like a key leader that they can join. So I think if the stability piece is solved, it just comes down to, well, let's meet the new owner and let's see. So that's going to be kind of our next phase up, is going to be
integrating the new owner into the business to make sure that, there's a strong buy-in to the new leader. And so that's going to be next up on our agenda. But for right now, those tough chats are all finished for right now. And, I have been feeling really kind of anxious and a little bit off these last few weeks, and definitely feels like a good load off my shoulders. There's still a lot of work ahead, but just have those initial chats has been really clearing for me mentally and exciting, I think, for the future. So, been a really good week having those tough chats and pushing into the uncomfortable zone for sure.
Step 6, we moved into the actual the tour. Okay, and this was one I purposely waited till kind of the last end I could. I think we did the tour about 8 or 9 days before the actual closing date. Because keep in mind, in the due diligence stage, there was a letter of intent, which was, I want to buy this business for X amount. These are the things I want to see in place. And, we went back and forth on that a couple times, but we had that locked in due diligence. So I wanted to make sure I'm not going to bring this potential buyer in, let the whole team know, and then surprise, it's not working out. And now Dave suddenly the owner again. Like, I had to make it work. So what I actually structured in was that a deposit was paid to lock that tour in. And that deposit was held in trust at the law firm who was executing the deal on the buyer side. So he went in, put down a deposit, like a bank draft, sent me a picture and said, hey, this money's in trust now. And I'm like, done. This guy's awesome. Let's rock and roll with the tour. We did a full day touring, most of the day touring, met all our team members, met in the office, saw a job site, saw our vehicles, got to meet our technicians, saw our storage. Like, I just played tour guide for the day, which was awesome because that just solidified more of that vibe check. I'm like, this owner's going to be awesome in taking over what I built up.
Okay, so we are 8 days out right now from the closing date for this purchase and sale of my business. And today is our tour day. So we blocked off the whole day. We're starting in the morning for coffee. We're going to go by at least one job site. We've got technicians, our key technicians, coming for a meet and greet to meet the new owner, inspect the vans. Then we're going to go to the office to meet our sales and office team. Then we're going to go by our multiple storage locations to, see our storage, how we organize everything. And then we're going to end the day with a wrap up to go through, anything pertinent to my role. I've been working hard behind the scenes, kind of creating SOPs, as I don't do a lot in the day-to-day of the business, but I do some higher level stuff as far as, overseeing our marketing, playing a hand in the hiring as well. And so I'm just creating some processes around so that I can transfer to the new owner rather than discuss over a coffee, like there's drinking from a fire hose. It's like, here's actually what Dave does and a documented process. So excited for that as well. So gonna be a fun day. Figure start with some coffee and meet the team, and it's gonna be awesome. All right, so tour day is all done. It's about 3 o'clock here in the afternoon, and honestly, the tour went awesome. I was able to take the buyer to go and meet our technicians, meet our office manager, meet our sales and service manager, and all went great. And the thing that's got me most excited is the fit that this buyer is going to be with the people. And he complimented me as we hung out for the day that the people in Revive is really what he's the most interested in, like how great the quality of people are on the team. So that's got him excited. I got to learn more about his vision of where he sees him taking this business in the next 5 years. And it's got me very excited for making that handoff that Dave took the business here and the new buyer can take the business here. And I get to witness it all happen with the original team that I put in place with the brand that I built. So it just makes me very happy. And yeah, we're about 8 days out right now from closing. So there's still going to be, the final agreement getting created and a few other, hoops to jump through, but this was definitely a big win on both sides to make sure it's a core values fit. So got me super excited for not just what's to come in the coming days, but weeks, months, and see this thing continue to boom over the coming years is awesome to see.
So after the tour day, about 8-9 days later, again, we'll layer in some video here to kind of show you my thoughts, my feelings, kind of going through this whole process.
All right, so here I am literally at the Starbucks that I built all my systems for Revive to run on. So we are about 6 days out right now from closing, and I wanted to come here to kind of just reflect on the last bunch of years being able to grow the business and how important sitting down at a table and making the systems for the business, and then went and assembled the team to run the business, and I was able to oversee it. And so don't overlook those systems in growing your business. For me, this was my zone of genius, my area that I could actually focus, pull up my laptop, actually write out the systems. Even if I didn't always feel like doing it, I was here diligently 6 days per week. So I'm back here early on a Saturday morning, just reflecting and closing that loop and reflecting on the journey and how important carving out the time to build those systems. So find your magic spot and start making those systems for your business.
So the cool thing of being an entrepreneur, if you haven't sold a company before, you get to do things how you want to do. And we are 1 day out right now from the close. And I just spent the last hour right here, handwritten cards and bonus checks for the key people on my team that helped me grow this business. This business was not grown just on Dave Moorman's 2,000 hours per year. It was built very methodically with a team in place. And I don't feel right selling a business, even though I have full equity in me keeping every last dime to myself. I want to reward those that came on the journey with me. I want to say thank you in writing, and I want to reward them financially with an amount that I feel is very fair and gives them a bit of a nice thank you to close up shop with me moving on as the leader and the owner of this company. So the key lesson here is not being selfish and rewarding the people on your team that helped you grow a business. I always knew when I sold a company, this was the first thing that I wanted to do with it, was say thank you to the very people that helped me build it.
But that was really step 6, was that tour day. And again, if you're watching this getting value, getting that deposit in was just so important, because everyone says they want to buy a business, but you vote with your dollars. And that's like a really important piece to show good faith that I wanted to see on the buy side. And then the last thing was actually the signing day, which was exciting. Was able to actually hire, I hired a notary who had, first I hired a lawyer who had all of the documents signed, ready to get signed. The lawyer actually used was not super local, so we had to get a local notary to authorize, make sure I'm legitimately the seller, see the driver's license, prove my identity, etc. Whole bunch of signatures, and got the deal signed, which was amazing.
All right. And just like that, the business is officially sold as of 5 minutes ago.
Definitely has not hit me yet.
So get into my car here.
Boom. And just like that,
The business is sold, which is crazy. I feel like it obviously hasn't hit me yet. It's been all of 5 minutes that I signed off on the deal, but pretty crazy process. I'm going to be kind of making some more content about this whole process because it's been a pretty wild ride, but what a cool moment starting a business with $3,000, growing it, and signing the deal to transfer the ownership just like that. So entrepreneurship, furthest thing from easy, but what a wild ride. What a fulfilling ride. I'm excited to get the next buyer all set up to success, to do even better than I was able to do with the business. I think that's what it's all about in transferring off a company, is setting up that next owner for success. So it's going to be a fun next new chapter, but we're signed off. It is official.
And it was this super weird feeling that probably took a few weeks to actually set in, that it's not like I am now like the official owner, because it's just something that was almost part of me for the last 8 years, that almost you sell off and sell away. And it's exciting because you get this cash flow coming in, which is awesome and gives you options, but it also feels weird that it's like, well, now it's not like now there's nothing to do, but it's like, feels weird now there's only one business to focus on. Just keep in mind, I've been running home service businesses for 16 years, and 12 of those years I've been running 2 businesses, like a painting washing business or a washing business coaching business. And now it's just being dad, being husband, and rocking the coaching business, which I'm really excited for, and ticking off this big box that I was able to successfully exit a company. Because most businesses, especially in the home service space, they just don't exit because they're not built properly and they're not worth anything. And the owner just stays grinding and grinding and grinding, making their, $150,000 in revenue every year. So that was the seventh step, was the actual official sign off, getting that buttoned up, making sure there were good lawyers on both sides. And again, like the accounting legal bill for everything on like the seller side is kind of in that, I don't remember exactly, but it's somewhere in like the $13,000 range ish for like everything. Because you're also hiring your accountant for consulting and like, how do we structure this deal and making sure everything's set up properly. So, won't go too much deeper, but you kind of get the gist of like that 7-step, a lot of work going on behind me today. You get the gist of kind of that 7-step process in exiting the business. So, it kind of lends to what's going to be next for me, right? And I think for now, it's just going to be sole focus on one business. I still know my brain, I'm entrepreneurial and I see opportunities, but for right now, for the midterm, it's just going to be a kind of a reset personally. Again, been such a push, running 2 businesses, D and Dad. I feel like I've been running on adrenaline like the last couple of years, just go, 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 right? And I want to kind of not slow down, but just recalibrate a little bit, make Home Service Business Coach solid. Like, we're already the top rated coaching business, phenomenal. We got a great team. I see a big opportunity with this business to help owners like you watching that are like, that is the coolest thing to start a business with $3,000, do close to 4 million in revenue, have a full team, build it up, exit it, get acquired. Like, that's the stuff I want to start helping owners do more and more, where it just becomes normal. And it's been such a good business to me being in home services. It got like my first house bought when I was 23, got me into real estate rentals, let me travel the world, made me become a millionaire, was like starting a home service business, which was so exciting. And now I get the opportunity to help others do the same. And I feel like running one business now as CEO, my brain is fully in it. I did the whole let the business run for 4 years, and came to a point where I'm like, look, I want to have a new owner come in, make sure Revive is passed off well, make sure that they're doing well, because that's the last thing I'll say. And what's next for me is part of my deal I structured in. I'm going to be staying on as a coach for the new owner to make sure that they reach out to me if there's any thing needed or any consulting needed, because there's still a few things that are in my brain that I think the owner can best consult on. So that was important to the buyer coming in for peace of mind, but also really important to me that these businesses, like, I'll just sum up with this. They get passed off, the owner gets paid, and then you go on their Google My Business in a year and the thing fell apart, right? And that's why I didn't want to sell to this like private equity group, because they're not the boots on the ground, right? And I get in the interview more of this owner why I'm like betting on them to do super well. But I want to look back in a year, 2 years, 3 years and see this owner do better with the business than I ever did, because it just generally doesn't get done. So I'm excited to see what that next step's going to be, and I'm going to kind of sit in this coaching role to assist the new buyer wherever it's needed. So that was my full journey. Wanted to kind of break it down in this like unedited, raw way. Wanted to kind of layer in a little bit of the footage so you can see kind of what I was thinking behind the scenes. And again, if you watched all the way to this, put a comment down below on your biggest takeaway, or like let me know kind of what you think of the whole process, or if questions come up that I can hit it all, because I want this to be extremely valuable, because I think there's not enough of this type of content out there, and there's too many like course creators that, they're young kids that grew a business temporarily, but actually if you want to grow something stable that's worth something, I hope that you found some value in this. So yeah, let me know what you think, and hopefully it was impactful for you, and I wish you well as you scale up your business. And if you ever want to reach out and learn more what we do here at Home Service Business Coach, I'll link something up down below and you can go ahead and check it out. But I wish you all the best in growing your company. Hope this inspired you today, and we'll chat real soon. Dave Moorman signing out.